Hello everyone. Let us continue with the subject finite element method. So we are in model number 5, dynamic analysis and access symmetric problems. So let us first consider the first unit of model number 5, which is dynamic analysis of finite element analysis. So basically, static analysis, which is considered in case of bars, beams, and trusses, wherein the load, which is either acted slowly or it may be a constant throughout the analysis. So when the load is suddenly applied, or if it is variable in nature, definitely there will be vibrations in the member due to and fro oscillations, and if such motion is repeating after an equal interval of time, then we may term it as a periodic motion. And the number of such oscillations per unit time, we call it as frequency. And if it is due to free vibration, then definitely we call it as natural frequency. So in addition to that, if there is some resistance to the motion of the vibrating body, we call it as the damping resistance. So in this particular unit, so we basically interested in knowing the general concept related to dynamic analysis or finite element formulation of dynamic analysis problems. So it is required to understand whenever in a dynamic case, in addition to the stiffness matrix and load vectors, it is required to consider the mass of the body under consideration. So whenever there is a dynamic analysis, mass and acceleration will come into picture. And the dynamic analysis is nothing but we may be interested in knowing the frequency of that particular member, or the natural frequencies and their modal shapes. So the general concept here in this particular model is to understand the mass matrices of the different elements of the different elements under considerations, maybe the bar element, maybe the CST element, truss element, and even the beam element. For such beam element, how exactly we can have the mass matrices, and how to have the formulation of those mass matrices, and how to analyze for its frequency and mode shapes. Those things are considered in this particular chapter. So basically, as studied in dynamics of machines, so the different types of vibrations are free vibration and forced vibration, damped and undamped vibrations, then linear and non-linear type of vibrations, then steady state and transient type of vibrations, and some random type of vibration, transient vibrations, and so on. So basically, here what we are interested is a free and forced type of vibration. If a system is disturbed with the help of some initial force and it is left for the continuous oscillations, so without having the continuous excitation on the system, then that particular vibrating system is said to be free vibration. And if the member is subjected to a continuous exciting force, then it will going to have certain oscillations and thereby frequencies, force frequencies, and all those. So for those conditions, we may call it as forced vibrations. If a member is subjected to a continuous exciting force, then it is termed as a forced vibrating system. Then we also know about the damped and undamped system. So any vibrating system will be having three parameters in it: mass, stiffness, and damper in it. So if there is no damper in the system, we call it as undamped system. And if there is a damper present in the system, then we call it as the damped vibrating system. So in addition to this, we know the equation of motion for damped and undamped system. So mx double dot plus ch dot plus kx is equals to 0 for the free condition. So it is the equation of motion for a damped vibrating system. And for undamped vibrating system, and the equation of motion is mx double dot plus kx is equals to 0. So these are the basic things which were covered in case of dynamics of machines. So the general dynamic equation of motion So the Lagrangian equation of motion is expressed as L is equals to T minus of pi, where T is kinetic energy and L is potential energy. So Hamilton principle states for an arbitrary time interval from T1 to T2, the state of motion of a body is given by I is equals to integration over the time T1 to T2 L dt. So this will going to give us the equation of motion. So in general, we can have the general equation of motion through Lagrangian equation, which is L is equals to T minus of pi. So where T is kinetic energy, we can have the kinetic energy of the system and also the potential energy of the system in terms of pi. And by making use of this set of equation, we can have the equation of motion for a dynamic system. So in general, the Hamilton equation, which is the generalized in terms of generalized coordinate, so the equation of motion can be expressed as d by dt of dou L by dou Q dot, dou Q1 dot minus of dou L by dou Qy is equals to 0 for I is equals to 1 to n. So to understand this, so let us consider a spring mass system consisting of two springs with they are connected in series with two masses. So the displacement of mass 1 is considered as x1 and corresponding velocity as x1 dot, and displacement of mass 2 as x2 and the corresponding the velocity is called as x2 dot. So we know that the kinetic energy is given by half mv square. So therefore, T is equals to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square. So v1, v2 here, the velocity of mass 1 and mass 2 are represented in terms of x1 dot and x2 dot. So they are just substituted here. They are x1 dot and x2 dot. So that is T is equals to half m1 x1 dot square plus half m2 x2 dot square. The potential energy of the system is half kx square. So there are two springs here. So plus pi is equals to half k1 x1 square. So this is the uh, half k1 x1 square is the potential energy of the first spring, half k2 x2 minus of x1 whole square, that is the net deflection of this particular mass 2, which is half k2 x2 minus of x1 whole square is the potential energy of the second spring. So overall, pi can be written as half k1 x1 square plus half k2 x2 minus of x1 whole square. So therefore, the Lagrangian equation of motion is can be derived by taking L is equals to T minus of pi. So T I have written here and also the pi. So using the Euler-Lagrangian theorem, that is d by dt of dou L by dou Qy minus of dou L by dou Qy is equals to 0. This is dou Q dot actually. So we know that when you have the derivative of L with respect to x1 dot, so derivative of the L with respect to x1 dot, so we will be having m1 x1 dot, m1 x1 dot. So further, the rate of change of this x1 dot will be x1 double dot. So I'm interested in knowing the first term of this Lagrangian equation, which is d by dt of dl by dqy dot. So dqy dot, the qy dot is nothing but x1 dot. So when you take the derivative of L with respect to x1 dot, you will get m1 x1 dot. So further, if you take the rate of change of this m1 x1 dot, so it will be m1 x1 double dot. So this is the first term of this Euler-Lagrangian equation. Further, we need dou L by dou Qy, that is the derivative of L with respect to x, so x1 term. So which comes out to be x1 is here and x1 is also in k2. So when you have the derivative of this partial derivative, so it will be k1 x1 minus of k1 x1 plus of k2 x2 minus of x1. So if you have the this equation, that is dou d by dt of dou L by dou Qy minus of dou L by dou Qy, it is Qy dot actually. So there is slight correction here, which is equals to 0. So when you have simplification of this, so ultimately we will get an equation which is m1 x1 double dot plus of k1 plus k2 into x1 minus of k2 x2. So further there is a small correction here, which is X1 double dot. So similarly, if you have the differentiation with respect to x2 dot and x2, so we will get the equation m2 x2 double dot minus of k2 x1 plus of k2 x2 is equals to 0. So writing these two equations in the matrix form, so the coefficients of x1 dot, x1 double dot and x2 double dot are m1 and m2. So we will get m1 0 0 m2 multiplied with the accelerating terms, which is x1 double dot and x2 double dot, plus of the coefficients of x1 and x2 in equation 1. In equation 1, coefficient of x1 is k1 plus k2 and coefficient of x2 is minus k2. So in equation number 2, coefficient of x1 is minus k2, coefficient of x2 is plus k2, which are multiplying with x1 and x2. So in general, in abbreviated form, we can write mx double dot plus kx is equals to 0. So it is the equation of motion for an undamped system. So like this, we can have the like this with the help of Euler-Lagrangian equation, we can have the equation of motion for a dynamic system. So for a dynamic system, we can calculate or we can derive the equation of motion by using the Euler-Lagrangian equation by taking L is equals to T minus of pi, where T is kinetic energy corresponding to each pass we have to calculate, and even the dynamic analysis, that is potential energy, we have to calculate for each springs. So with this, we can have the generalized coordinate, or sorry, the equation of motion for a undamped vibrating system. Right. So the next topic here is point and distributed mass. So let us consider a body in that a small elemental volume of volume dV is considered, and they are having a displacement along x, y, z direction as UVW, and corresponding velocities in x, y, z direction as u dot, v dot, and w dot. So the density of material of this member is represented by rho. So for this, we know that the potential energy pi is given by half q transpose k into q minus of q transpose into f. So and kinetic energy T is equals to half mv square. So T is therefore equals to half integration over the volume V for entire body. So it is mv square. So instead of m, we have density here, rho into dv, and this v square can be written as suppose if you are considering velocity in x direction, then it is uh, u dot itself is considered with respect to UVW, it is a velocity vector. So it is u dot transpose into u dot rho into d. So I will repeat this. So the kinetic energy T is equals to half mv square. V is the velocity in xyz direction. They are represented by u dot, v dot, w dot. So uh, for the entire volume body, so integration over the volume V, this V square can be written as u dot transpose into u dot, and m can be written as rho for that particular volume body. So we know that the displacement u is equals to n cube, and velocity u dot can be written as n into q dot. So therefore, substituting this in the above equation, where T is equals to half q dot transpose in the bracketed term, integration over the volume V, rho into n transpose n into dv into q transpose. So the bracketed term that represents the mass matrix of that particular element, mass matrix of an element. So it is mass matrix of an element is integration over the element E, rho into n transpose n into d. So we can calculate the mass matrix with this expression. So the mass matrix is given by equation, above equation is consistent with the safe function chosen, and it's called consistent mass matrix. So suppose if you are considering the mass matrix with respect to the entire length of the member, then we consider it as consistent mass matrix. So suppose if you use the kinetic energy equation, that is half q dot transpose m into q dot, and if you have the equation of motion as mq double dot plus of kq is equals to f, where f is 0 for free vibration and f is having some value with for forced vibrating system. So for a free vibration and to have this steady state condition, say this q is u sine omega t, and if you substitute the terms of q double dot and q in the above equation by differentiating q with respect to t uh, twice, so we will get k into q is equals to omega square into m, or in general k into u is equals to lambda into m. So where u is the eigenvector representing the vibrating mode and corresponding eigenvalue is lambda. So not necessarily you should understand this. So basically what we need is the mass matrix. So which can be calculated and which can be determined with the help of this equation, which is m is equals to integration over the element rho n transpose n into d n into d. So so here we come across the two terms of mass matrices. One is lumped and another one is consistent mass matrix. So an element mass matrix derived by the application of same displacement model as that of the elemental stiffness matrix is called consistent mass matrix. So properties of this matrix include symmetric, positive, definite, and non-diagonal. This gives more accurate results. So if the mass is distributed, uh, it is distributed over the entire length. So if you are considering the safe function of node 1, safe function of node 2, so whatever the displacement model you are using for deriving the stiffness matrix of an element, so if the same set of displacement models are used in calculating the mass matrix of that particular element, then it is called as consistent mass matrix. And suppose if the element mass in each direction is distributed to the nodes of an element, so only it is assumed that the total mass of that particular element is concentrating at a particular node, then we may call it as the lumped mass matrix or distributed mass matrix. So these are the two types of mass. Here we can observe the difference between the lumped mass and consistent mass matrices. So according to the definition, the mass matrix of consistent with the safe function. In case of lump, the mass is distributed equally at the nodes of element and the masses are associated with the translation degree of freedom only. And the result, according to the result, the difference here is the consistent mass matrix will give us the accurate result or yields more accurate result compared to the lumped mass matrix. And it is also the natural frequency obtained or more accurate, better than the lump in case of consistent mass matrix. And in case of the lumped mass matrix, they are definitely lesser than the consistent mass matrices. So according to the some derivations, we can write the consistent mass matrix of a bar element is given by rho L by rho A L by 6 in the matrix of 2, 1, 1, 2, and the lumped mass matrix for a bar element is rho A L by 2 in the matrix of 1, 0, 0, 1. So is the lumped mass matrix of the bar. Right. So next is about the mass matrices of bar and other elements. So first of all, let us consider the mass matrix of the bar elements. So let us derive the consistent mass matrix. So we know the expression for mass of the mass matrix of an element is given by rho integration over the element E n transpose n into d. Now consider a bar, node 1 and node 2. In that I have considered a volume body dV is it, that can be written as dx. For one-dimensional element, we know that the displacement at node 1 and node 2 as Q1 and Q2, and the safe functions of the bar element are represented by N1 and N2 corresponding to node 1 and 2. And the value in natural coordinate they are given by 1 minus zeta by 2 and 1 plus zeta by 2. So when I substitute for a bar element, M is equals to rho integration n transpose n. dV can be replaced by ADX as shown in the figure, and dx can be replaced in terms of d zeta. We know that dx is equals to L by 2 into d zeta. So d zeta will be equals to 2 by L, uh, uh, 2 by L into dx. So we need dx only. So it is Le by 2 into d zeta. So when I substitute here, Me is equals to rho minus 1 plus 1, N transpose R A, and dx is replaced by Le by 2 into d zeta. So this is obtained by using the relation between global and natural coordinate and differentiating that with respect to x. You get Le by 2 into d zeta. So Me is therefore equals to rho A Le by 2 integration. As we have converted to natural coordinate, we can write for this element the variations are from minus 1 to plus 1. So it is N transpose N into d zeta. So we know that N transpose can be written as N1, N2 as a column matrix and N as a row matrix N1, N2 into d zeta. So when you multiply these two matrices, and we know the value of N1, N2 and R, so we can have the integration of this. So it is not dz, it is d zeta. So if you integrate 1 minus zeta square by 2, 1 minus zeta by 2 whole square into d zeta, this with this limit it will get it as 2 by 3. Similarly, n2 square also will get 2 by 3. n1, n2 will get 1 by 3. So therefore, when you substitute these value in this matrix, you will get rho A Le by 6 in the matrix of 2, 1, 1, 2. Similarly, to have the lumped mass matrix, meaning that the mass is assumed to be concentrated at a particular node. So we can have this equation for node I and node J. So uh, mass matrix is given by this expression. So instead of writing N transpose N into dV, so in case of lumped mass, it is assumed that the mass is assumed at a particular node, that is at I. So I is nothing but node 1. dV can be replaced by A dx. So we know that it is 1 minus zeta by 2 A Le by 2 d zeta. So ultimately what we get, it is rho A Le by 2. So if you assume that the mass is assumed is concentrating at node number 1, so then you will get a matrix of that is the mass value at an entity 1 plus 1. And similarly, if it is assumed at node number 2, we will get it as M22. So we'll get the value as rho A Le by 2. So the lumped mass matrix for bar element is given by M is equals to rho A Le by 2 in the matrix of 1001. Similarly, we can have the consistent and lumped mass matrix for truss element. And for truss element, here we have to have the consistent and lumped mass matrix. So for having the consistent mass matrix, I have considered a truss element between two nodes, and the displacements are U1, U2, U2, V2. So U and V displacements are corresponding to X and Y. So they can be written as by the definition of safe function, we can write it as N1 U1 plus N2 U2, and V also we can write N1 V1 plus N2 V2. And when you write in matrix form, it is UV N1 0 N2 0 0 N1 0 N2 multiplying with U1 V1 U2 V2. So we know that the mass matrix equation is rho A N transpose N into dx integration of it. So we know the N matrix, so column matrix, that is transpose matrix, and row matrix. So when you multiply these two, and we know that the integration of N1 square into dx is calculated with this formula, that is uh, 2 factorial 0 factorial plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 factorial into Le, which comes out to be Le by 3 for N1 square and N2 square. And for N1, N2, it is the power of N1 and N2, which is 1 factorial plus 1 factorial. You can say it is integration of Mn into integration of Mn uh, into dx. So that is m factorial n factorial divided by m plus n plus 1 factorial into that particular number. So it will be coefficients of n1, n2, that is power of n1, n2 is 1 factorial plus 1 factorial divided by 1 plus 1 plus 1 factorial, which comes out to be L by 6. When you substitute here, it is m is equals to rho a. When you substitute back in the multiplied equation, so we will get the value. This has the value. So rho a L by 6 in the matrix of 2010. 0 2 0 1 1 0 2 0 0 1 0 2. So this mass matrix, it is the consistent mass matrix of the truss element, and lumped mass matrix can be calculated by assuming that it is concentrated at node number one only for the first calculation, and then for the second calculation. We will get the same set of equation, which is as that of the bar as rho A L equal to a matrix of 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0. So the thing is, in case of bar, we will be having 2 by 2 matrix, whereas in case of truss element, as it is a 4-degree problem, we will get a 4 by 4 matrix. Similarly, we can have the consistent and lumped mass matrix for the CST element, that is triangular element. So a triangle with 3 nodes, displacements are shown, and we can write u and v corresponding to x and y direction. So these are the things, and when you multiply these two, right, we get a matrix of 6 by 6. 6 by 6 matrix we get. So the only thing we have multiplied here thickness, so that need to be remembered, and it is multiplying with d. So integration of n1 square d to the integral formula with respect to area, we get 1 by 6 a. Similarly for n2 square integration, n3 square integration also. And for n1, n2, n1, n3, n2, n3 integration over the area, you get 1 by 12 of area. So please remember this set of formulas directly you can write it. So when you substitute back, you will get the mass matrix of the CST element, consistent mass matrix, which is rho Ta divided by 12 in the matrix of 6 by 6 matrix. Just you can understand from the coefficients of the, uh, the terms. So in a similar way, we can have the consistent and lumped mass matrix for beam element. So in case of beam, the displacement is the vertical deflection, which is V is equals to H into Q, where H are the Hermite safe function, Q is the displacement vector from the beam element. So we can write it as H transpose H into d zeta. So we know that H is given by H1, H2, H3, H4. H2 and H4 are multiplying with L equal to because they are slopes. So when you multiply and when you simplify by taking H1, H2, H3, H4, we will get the mass matrix of the consistent mass matrix of beam element by this equation. And we can also have the lumped mass matrix for beam. So these are the set of derivations in case of beam element. And one more thing, so we can have the equation of motion with the help of Lagrangian equation, and we can calculate the eigenvalues and eigenvectors by assuming displacement equation as x sin omega t or x cos omega t, and we can write the lambda as omega square as already told uh, in the in this lecture only. So these are the set of equations through which we can solve number of problems related to the dynamic analysis of beams. So majorly, we need to understand the consistent and lumped mass matrix of different elements, the definition definitely, and the difference and different for different element we should be able to derive the consistent mass matrix and lumped mass matrix. For example, for bar element, for beam element, for truss element, and for CST element. So these 4 cases I have considered, and for them, uh, what is shown is the consistent and lumped mass matrix. So the numericals related to this will be continued in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this video.